I cannot sleep. But who could on a night like this? Buried for 15,000 years, and I'll be among the first to see it. Incredible. No one is more shocked than I am at the lead archaeologist's choice. I guess when she called me a reckless insubordinate, it was a compliment. Whatever her reasons, I leave for Caldari Prime in the morning. What we find there could change New Eden forever. I was chastised today for too much fraternizing with the locals. Are they kidding me? Why wouldn't I? The Caldari tournaments, the Galente nightclubs, all the beautiful people, the incredible food. I had not lived before I ate a Lumenwurst on Rotebraut. We start work on the dig in 3 days, and until then, I intend to make the best of my time outside that stuffy old Kitz. I saw a man slumped beside the rubble of a fallen house today. I asked him who he wept for. He stared at me and replied, "All of us." This city has become a graveyard, and not all its dead lie buried. The fighting, unlike our work, continues. I was born in the lower levels of Caldari Station to Caldari parents. We were taught that this planet is our true home. The state has decided the best way to get it back is to bomb it into dust. The Galente are raised knowing that this star system is their home, and the best way to make that home secure is to bomb this planet into dust. Both sides are so busy fighting over rocks and exploding balls of hydrogen that they don't even notice the lives destroyed in the process. Last night, a stray piece of ordnance hit the outskirts of the city. The dig site was obliterated, and 15,000 years of history was lost. The contemptible arrogance, the petty waste. And for what? Why did I come here? To witness death? To lose my heart? To see a dream destroyed? There must be a lesson to learn from this insanity, but I'm too blinded by my rage to see it. A shuttle is on its way. I should be relieved, but I can only think of the innocents we're leaving behind. We'll never know what secrets the dig held, but if our ancestors truly did arrive here from some distant star, it cannot have been for this. The ceremony was long, but at the reception, they told me my application for a solo expedition to scour relic sites for traces of Jovian explorers has been approved. The Kit's governor made a joke about hoping it would go better than my first expedition. I managed to squeeze out a smile. The first Jove understood that a civilization is elevated by multiplicity. Their wisdom gives me hope. Perhaps, by walking in the footsteps of the society's ancestors, I'll find a new path, free of petty tribalism. The search has run dry. Every site I visit has been picked over by others before me. If I'm going to break new ground, I must leave the safety of familiar space behind. My superiors would not approve. But when I return triumphant, they will surely forgive my methods. All I need is a little luck and a guide. Few things provide clarity like the barrel of a gun pressed against your forehead. It was naive of me to think I could just hail a caravan and swing by for a cup of tea and a chat. After some apologetic stammering, the clan member holding the rifle was kind enough not to pull the trigger. They've moved me to their leader Ronnie's ship. It's unclear if I'm a prisoner or a guest, but I am alive. For now, that feels like a win. Ronnie is truly an inspiration. All her people are. Back in the society, everything's so rigid, so political. These Thuckers are bold and uncompromising. They tell me each caravan is a unique culture, unbound by the rules of the Republic. It reminds me of the first Jovian enclaves, if a little less intellectual in focus. Together, we have discovered more in weeks than the SOCT has in decades. A pattern is forming, and these Atavum lead the way. Now that I've learned of its existence, I see it everywhere. The first piece of evidence seemed inconsequential. The next few, merely coincidental. But all together, they're undeniable. 3 empires built on this secret, and they hid it in plain sight. 2 uneven loops vertically entwined, rendered in right angles, broken at the peak. The finite infinite. I'm shocked. And for that reason, I know I've been a fool. I had thought my superiors would chastise me for associating with criminals. Instead, I'm ordered to betray their trust. They pretend to be interested in the well-being of children. But I see the truth. They will erase their culture and turn innocents into spies. The 5th point of the Concord Star is just as corrupt as the other 4. The secrets I have learned are not for them. I leave their hallowed halls behind, never to return. I never thought I would be so grateful to be back in my bunk. For the last 3 days, I've been held hostage by some ambitious con men. But I was not alone in my cell. We spent 2 days in silence before I blurted out everything to her, all my grand dreams. The final confession of a dying man. I thought she would laugh. Instead, she told me it was a fine dream, but worth nothing if I died there. Then she told me she had a plan. Now our captors are dead, and I have a new ally in Soldran. All in all, worth a few days at death's door. The society, in its arrogance, believes that it has learned all the secrets of its masters, yet they do not know the truth of what they keep locked away, let alone the location of the key. Now the passages have collapsed and the secret buried. It's the jealous act of a diminished civilization. A meager span of light years, yet completely unreachable. However, if I have learned anything on my travels, it is that the boundaries of the impossible diminish as perspective grows. The great divide we must cross is not one of space, but our own ignorance. When Soldran showed me today's newscast, a shiver ran through me. Their vessels are pale imitations of the original, but there's no mistaking their design. Despite the Third Empire's selective memory, my research has revealed the horrors of their forebears. Any who would adopt the mantle of those dark days is a threat to us all. The empires are scrambling to understand these drifters, but I know what they seek. They have awoken just as the gates to paradise slammed shut. Should they find a way in before we do, true tyranny will return to New Eden. From site to site, we've traced the lines of connection and discovered a point of convergence. Now we just need to reach it. The circle of trust has expanded more than I could have ever hoped. Together, we have gazed further than the myopia of New Eden's empires allows, and caught a glimpse of the wisdom of the past. Tomorrow, we'll pass through the gate, and take our first step toward crossing the Great Divide. I cannot sleep, but who could on such a night? This is all my fault. My ignorance, my hubris. It's cost us too much. This is not the time for tears. We found refuge inside the greatest discovery of our age. I could spend the rest of my life exploring it. But as it stands, that won't be long. We're trapped, and our rations are running thin. Malaya has taken charge of the caravan. We've come a long way since we first met. But if I don't figure out something soon, she may as well have pulled the trigger back then. Somehow, this place has survived the forces outside. If we can understand it, perhaps we can too. I walk along endless corridors and see nothing but cold metal. But I feel something. It is like an eye on your back when no one walks behind you, or a whisper that fades when you listen too closely. I know it watches me, waiting. I just don't know what for. So much has been revealed. I have climbed to atop the throne, and from this seat, I see beyond the limitations of my eyes. I have pushed back the storm. I can open the gates. These are our first steps. Others will follow. I see the path now. We must but walk it. Those who journeyed here beside me will become the inner circle of our great movement. Together, we shall free the people of New Eden, no matter the cost. A world of substance. A world of dreams. A world beyond. The fulcrum has shown me so much, and in return, it has consumed my limitations. It has taught me a new name, a mantle granted to those who it has chosen. Those who have stepped beyond the meager limitations of their body, so they exist in all three worlds. The deathless,